If you're watching this, you have probably undergone bariatric surgery, are considering having bariatric surgery, or maybe you're just here to see what comes next post-op. Weight loss surgery can feel like a miracle tool, but it also brings up so many fears, some at the time of surgery and some much later on. One that I hear most often from students, clients, and you is, what if I fail? What if I regain the weight? And I get it, because almost 6 years ago, when I underwent my own VSG, I faced the same fear. At first, after I had surgery, I thought that the hard part was over. But I quickly learned, as so many of us do, that surgery doesn't fix anything. While yes, you are removing a large portion of your stomach or having things rerouted depending on the type of surgery you're having, it doesn't fix your mindset or your habits. And just like you, I feared, I had self-doubt about whether those old habits would win. We all think that after weight loss surgery, when you hit your absolute lowest weight, which can happen ranging from 9 months, that's fairly quick, to 2 years out, when you reach that bottom weight, that regain won't happen to you. Oh, but it will. You aren't supposed to stay at that weight. And then the fear creeps in when you see the scale going in the wrong direction and you wonder, will I regain more? Regaining isn't a failure. It's normal. I don't mean regaining all of your weight, but I do mean some level of regain. And today I am here to share with you the top 5 reasons for bariatric surgery weight regain and how to stop or prevent them. I'm not just going to tell you what might be happening, but we're going to dig into the why. I'll also give you practical and proven tips to stop the weight regain. And here's the thing, some of those reasons, they might surprise you. If you're new around here, hi, I'm Chelsea. I'm a bariatric surgery coach for women to help women pre and post-op thrive in all aspects of their life. If you're not subscribed here, why? It's absolutely free. You're gonna get gems like this, plus a cute Disney background. Also, if you're getting sick of the Disney background, will you let me know in the comments? And if there are particular videos that you want me to make, let me know, because I love making requested videos. Let's begin with our friend old habits. You might have heard this before, but here's the thing that no one likes to say out loud. After surgery, you wake up a literally new person. You are missing a large part of one of your organs, and you think to yourself, you know what? It's after surgery. I'm a new person. I just won't do the same things that I did before. It's not that simple though. Here's why. Bariatric surgery is a tool, not magic. Sadly, it's not magic. If one of your coping mechanisms before surgery, during times of stress, was turning to food, was emotionally eating, that doesn't just go away. The stressors don't go away, and neither do the old habits or the coping mechanisms just because you want them to. Without a new strategy to replace this, the old one is going to come right back. I'm really sorry to have to say that because I'm an optimistic person, but that old habit around emotional eating is coming back if you don't deal with it. So let's talk about the down and dirty, how to stop this. The first step is identifying your triggers. Have you ever tracked your emotions around eating, or the reason why you are led to the snack, the fridge, the cabinet, the fast food drive-through? What is getting you there emotionally? Is it actually hunger? My guess most oftentimes is no. Once you know your trigger, you can replace, not restrict. Post-op life is not a diet. Won't be successful if you think so. So instead of saying something like, I can't snack anymore, because that's absolutely not true or what I would advise any of my students or clients, we're going to find a coping mechanism to replace the stress snack. You don't need to get rid of snacking, but you need a strategy here. And this is trial and error. When I work with my clients and my students, we literally spend an hour together figuring out what is going on your new coping mechanisms list. Is it journaling for 5 minutes? I was so surprised to learn recently in my membership that my Glow Getters, their favorite, and this was like aggregate data, their favorite coping mechanism was going outside and taking a walk, moving their body. That is absolutely not mine. I am like a bathtub girl. I want some type of juicy, delicious self-care. They were like, no, I like to go outside and take a walk. Wow. I was surprised by that. I personally find movement to be one of my harder choices because I don't want to step away from the stress snack. I want the snack. So to force myself to put sneakers on, go outside and take a walk, yes, sounds ideal. That's not always how I cope. So I like something faster, more immediate that feels to me just as good as the stress snack would. So maybe it is walking for you, or yoga, or stretching your body. Maybe it is screaming into a pillow to an angry song, putting your headphones on, laying down, having a rest, scrolling TikTok within a limited amount of time, journaling, art projects, gardening, whatever. But you need to know what your strategy is and have practiced the implementation of that before you turn to it. Does that make sense? My third tip here is to make pausing a practice. Before you grab something to eat, when you've identified your trigger and you know you're not physically hungry, pause for 10 seconds to ask yourself, am I going to feel better after I ingest this, whatever it is? Another question I like to ask is, what am I trying to solve with food? We've talked about some of my addictions here on this channel, and one of them used to be fast food. I used to solve my problems, at least temporarily, at the McDonald's drive-thru. What I wasn't processing was my stress level and my anxiety combined to create a generalized depression in my life that at the time I didn't recognize, and then added on to that was constantly feeling overwhelmed and wearing busy as a badge. But when I started to sit with those feelings, deeply uncomfortably, by the way, post-op, due to my therapist, working with coaches, journaling, yoga practicing, like when I started to unpack the why of my triggers and my actions, I learned that I was giving away so much of my own power to other people and to food. And when I was honest with myself, I realized that food wasn't solving any of those problems. It was just causing the dreaded shame spiral. And that is where change began for me too. Now, I recently did an entire video on reason number 2 around weight regain. And it's the all or nothing mindset. In addition to old habits, which seem, I don't want to say easy to break, because so many of us are on autopilot, but with the help of some support, a coach, a program, you can absolutely break old habits fairly quickly. I find that the all or nothing mindset lives deeper than our old habits do. It's a big one I find in my community. If you're unfamiliar, congratulations, but it sounds something like, if I mess up once, I failed. All or nothing. Or maybe, if I can't follow every single post-op rule perfectly, what's the point? I'll gain all of my weight back and more if I can't do everything perfectly executed. That's not true. But I have some science truth for you that I didn't share in the all or nothing video, so I thought I would share it with you here. A study published in the Journal of Obesity found that people who are more flexible with their lifestyles are more likely to sustain long-term weight loss and management. Isn't that great news? And the reason why is because life isn't perfect. Perfectionism isn't your goal anyway, right? Progress is. And if you just answered, yes, Chelsea, perfectionism is my goal, I want to talk to you, okay? I think we need a one-on-one. So here's how we begin to shift this mindset. Here's the cheat sheet for that. One of the ways to do that is to celebrate every single win. And yeah, the little ones, especially the little ones. Did you meet your protein goal 3 days this week instead of 7? Guess what, girl? That's amazing. It's huge. It's a step forward. Did you get 50 ounces of water in today instead of 80? Guess what? You're still more hydrated than you would have been if you hadn't set that goal. You can reframe almost anything as a small win. Were you kinder to yourself today than you were yesterday? Were you more present with your family? Did you home cook a meal instead of ordering out? Whatever it is, you need to recognize and acknowledge that that's progress. James Clear says in one of his books, The Atomic Habits. I love this book and I read it at least once a year. I request that my clients and students do the same. He talks about the 1% better situation with yourself. Are you 1% better today than you were yesterday? You are winning. And you need to celebrate that. Another strategy to rid yourself of the all or nothing mindset is how you redefine success for yourself. The 1% strategy comes in here, right? Because you aren't comparing yourself with others. You are trying to be better than you were yesterday. And I talk a lot about Bianca. She's my mean girl voice in my head. Actually, she's not so mean anymore. We're honestly almost friends at this point, but I want you to talk back to her. I want you to challenge her like you would anyone else in the world if they came at you with false evidence. So if your mean girl is saying, girl, you ruined everything by having a carb-heavy day instead of a protein-focused day or a fiber-focused day, you can shout back to her, okay, what you're telling me is true. Thank you for alerting me to this choice. Tomorrow, we're going to focus more on protein or on the next meal. Whatever it may be. You don't need to be perfect to gain control of your weight. None of us are. And that brings me to reason number 3, stalling being seen as a failure instead of a norm. Stalling does not equal failure. Have you hit a weight stall and panicked? Yeah, me too. It's so easy to think, I'll never lose another pound. This is it. I've reached the end of what my body will do naturally. I broke it. But the science actually says that your body is constantly adapting, and the weight stalls, the weight plateaus are your body catching up. Sometimes it just takes a pause to adjust to such rapid weight loss. So think of a stall as your body just telling you, hold on, girly pop, I'm recalibrating. So during stalls, some things you can do to get yourself out of the all or nothing mindset and to not see stalling as failure, can we focus on some non-scale victories? Ooh, I love a non-scale victory. How are your clothes fitting? I was talking today with a friend who is about to have weight loss surgery and sharing with her that there was a time that I spilled something on myself. I can't remember what it was, but I spilled and I needed to have a meeting. So I was able to go into a Marshall's, a TJ Maxx, and buy something off the rack. And I sat in my car when I brought the bag back to my car and I cried. Because the concept for me of buying something off the rack, having it fit, and then going into a meeting, having that be so easy, that's a non-scale victory. Shopping off the rack, non-scale victory. How's your energy level? Are you feeling better, less cloudy, less foggy? Perhaps you're more patient with the people in your life. Non-scale victory. These changes matter just as much as the numbers do, if not more. During a stall, I also find it effective to mix up my movement. Sometimes my body just gets used to what I'm doing, which is primarily walking, yoga, and strength training. So I try something new. I go to a class. I don't always love the things that I try, but it does help move the needle when I've been doing the same type of bodily movement for months at a time. And one of the keys that your emotional success is thriving is that during a stall, you're still staying consistent, right? During this time of heightened emotional stress, you are keeping up with your hydration, you're taking your vitamins, you're hitting your protein goals, like you are still doing all of the habits that you know work, because eventually you're going to come out of that stall and your habits need to be there to support you. You're not failing during a stall. Do you hear me? You're not failing. You are recalibrating. You're adjusting. You are a butterfly in her chrysalis waiting to emerge for that next phase. But if you don't wait it out, if you don't practice those good habits, celebrate your non-scale victories, then you are going to be miserable in this time of change and you won't be able to reflect on how beautiful it's been. Reason number 4 that you might be regaining weight and how to stop doing so is around grazing and snacking. I know that it can feel like we're taking such small bites that they don't matter, but they add up. I find that I become grazy or snacky when I'm extra busy or when I'm kind of aimlessly in a circumstance where there's just like delicious picky bits all around and I haven't intentionally planned for that, or I didn't eat a great protein meal prior to arriving wherever I was. So this happens. This is a part of life. But I find that during these times when I get on the scale and it's moved in a direction I don't want it to go, or I haven't lost when I expected to, if I review back, if I roll that tape back and look at my behavior, when I am grazing and snacking, it really is slowing down my progress. It's not killing my progress, but I'm not getting where I want to be as quickly as I could be. Mindless snacking, which I think we've all done, right? I used to call my binges my blackout eating, but now it's much less intense and it's not usually tied to overwhelm. But it adds extra calories to my body that aren't always beneficial. And again, I want to separate out here mindful and mindless snacking. I think a protein-based snack is not only something I look forward to, but it's necessary. Whereas a mindless snack would be me just grabbing an oversized bowl of Cheez-Its as a slider food after dinner, sitting on the couch and eating the whole thing without actually tasting them. Like, there's a difference between those two. It's adding extra calories and I see it. So a tip that you've heard 1,000 times, but I'm just going to tell you anyway, is when I plan out my meals, when I have 3 protein heavy meals and 1 to 2 mindful snacks built in, I don't feel the need to mindlessly snack. And honestly, I don't know if I could fit it if I tried. I keep my grazy-based foods out of reach. They're not in my eyesight line when I'm headed into the fridge. Like, I have my protein cafe area in the fridge. I have my protein shakes. I have my cheese sticks. Like, I have all my favorite things ready for me. I also try to always pair a carb with a protein. So if I really want to eat Cheez-Its, can I do so with a string cheese or a hard-boiled egg or with some hummus or something fiberful? So I try to pair them so that way I'll naturally eat less because I'll be full faster. And something I focus on quite a bit personally and with my clients is mindful eating. I do have an intuitive eating guide that's totally free that will walk you through this in much more depth than I'm going here since I'm covering multiple steps. If you want that, if you're looking to practice more mindful eating, if that sounds appealing to you, there is a link in the description box. Your brain will signal your hunger and fullness cues more quickly when you are engaged in what you're eating. So yes, I've been to the pantry for one more handful, right? That scoop. It doesn't make me feel better. I see the calories added. My scale doesn't move as quickly as I want it to. So this is one of the habits that has to go. It's gotta go. And lastly, my loves, I think this one is kind of the doozy, and it's when emotional eating isn't addressed. This one's close to my heart too. For so many of us, food has been comfort, right? It's been stability. It's something we can turn to that didn't judge us like other people did. It was, even in isolation, a comfort. That feeling doesn't go away after surgery. What we do know is that emotional eating doesn't solve your overwhelm, anxiety, stress, depression, etc. It doesn't create less pain or less loneliness that we feel inside. And it doesn't take away that you may be feeling unworthy in your body. And unless we address what's underneath, regain becomes a real possibility. So I'm going to give you 3 strategies to address this. Now, I have a full course on this, and I will tell you right now, the course is not available for you to purchase, though it is coming soon. And if you're interested in being on the wait list for that, let me know in the comments and we can chat. But I literally built this course, which is called Mindset Mastery, around addressing binge and emotional eating. So my first hot takeaway is to get curious about your feelings, your emotions. There's a loop here that I go into in the course around your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. When a craving hits, it usually isn't because you deeply want that food. It's usually something to do with your emotions. Can you stop and ask yourself, why am I feeling like this food will solve XYZ problem? Is this head hunger or real hunger? And a way to identify that is to walk away for 10 to 15 minutes. If you're still hungry, it's real. If you're not, it was likely in your head the whole time. Another way to address this is to seek support. And this isn't a plug, because this could be a friend who understands, a therapist, a support group at your clinic. It could also be a bariatric surgery coach or a course that you take with people who understand what you're going through. Bariatric surgery is still so nichely talked about. We need each other to feel not alone on this journey. And my third tip is around journaling through your cravings. I'm a big proponent of getting to know what's going on in here through writing. I'm really good at lying to myself, so I can mental gymnastics strategy my way around something, but when I write it out, I can't lie. It simply just comes out of me. Also, writing out what I wanted to eat when I wanted to eat it, that's been a really big one for me. Helped me identify patterns. And then because of those patterns, I could implement new habits and coping mechanisms. Do you see how this kind of all connects? In order to break an old habit that wasn't serving me anymore. This was quite life-changing to see through my own handwriting, and yes, I do it in a physical notebook, what I wanted to eat, when and why, was like my brain telling me, hey, Chelsea, it's during this time of the month, this time of the day when you have these kinds of meetings. Like, it was literally a checklist of things I needed to release and let go of. So there you have it, my beautiful friends. The top 5 reasons why after weight loss surgery, people regain their weight, and some strategies on how to stop or prevent this. Remember, this is not about being perfect. It's about building lasting, sustainable, good habits for yourself that are going to translate way after your first year post-op. If this video resonated with you, if you found a tip in here that you're like, ooh, that's a gem, I would love to have you join this community. Please subscribe. And if you're looking for further help, whether it's through a free chat on Instagram in the DMs, or you want to join my course, or you want to be on the wait list, or you want coaching, please let me know. I've got tools and proven frameworks to help you break through obstacles like weight regain, but also to help you thrive for the rest of your journey and your success. You are worth the effort. You're worth the time, the change, the commitment required to be this person who is successful with life after weight loss surgery. Until next week, my loves, take care of yourself. Bye, friends.